Quick one, just your message of condolences to the family, and how are you going to remember Mr. Aziz Pahad? Please.
You know, I'll be speaking at the memorial service. But of course, I mean, it's a very, very big loss. We've worked with Aziz for many years, and a real patriot, a real revolutionary, very quiet, but always very busy, helping to bring about the change here. And of course, even after 94, continued to build the new South Africa. It's a very big loss. There are not many people many among us who are like him, unfortunately. And I really think that he's left us at the wrong time, because with the challenges we're facing in the country, we needed more of those. We needed him and more of him to help us to address all these challenges that we're facing in the country. But anyway, we stayed with him during all of these months that he's been ill. So we're very regularly in touch with him. So it was clear that this moment would come sooner or later. But still I'm saying it's a very big loss, because you have one of these people that we need to help us to address today's challenges, who would have approached them in the same way that he approached a challenge to bring about change. So, but anyway, we'll speak a little bit more about him in future.
How do we honor his legacy, though?
I mean, really, I think what we should be doing is to say, how many people can we get to emulate Aziz? Because we need more of that kind of person. Because with all of the challenges we're facing here at home now, that's exactly the kind of person you need to intervene, to change the situation for the better. That's really how we should honor him, to see how we use his example to multiply the kind of people that are necessary to help to bring about the kind of change that's needed.
And Mr. Mbeki, when you reflect on the African Renaissance and whether or not we are still on track in terms of achieving that, what are your reflections? Because you would have been there with Mr. Pahad crafting that, and it was something that was very special to both of you.
This is why I was saying that I'm going to speak at the memorial meeting and deal with things like that. But I mean, certainly Aziz, one of his areas of concentration was that issue of the renaissance of the African continent. Therefore, understood very, very well what the challenges of the continent are, understood very, very well what it is that needed to be done, understood very well how to engage the other Africans so that we could act together to address these African challenges. So again, you see, if you look at the continent today, there are many challenges that the African continent faces. And so I would say, again, in terms of addressing that process of the African Renaissance, we need more people like Aziz. But we'll speak a bit later than that.
Thank you very much for your time. Former President, it's good to see you, by the way. Former President Thabo Mbeki, they're reflecting on, Mr. Aziz Pahad, the late Foreign Affairs Deputy Minister, the man he appointed when he inherited him from former President Nelson Mandela's administration. He continued utilizing him as the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, as we see more and more dignitaries arriving here. Let me see if we can get Mr. Ronnie Casrels here. I know we have to move back a little bit, but Mr. Ronnie Casrels is on the program here to deliver a message of support. Mr. Ronnie Casrels is the former Minister of Intelligence in this country, someone who knows Mr. Aziz Pahad very well, as you see him in conversation with President Cyril Ramaphosa. At some point, we will have to vacate here. We will have to move, but I want to see if we can get a word with Mr. Ronnie Kasrils, former Minister Ronnie Kasrils. I know that we need to clear this space at some point because we are out of time. Protocol officers are telling us that we need to make way. We will be making way, but we just need to get these visuals and then to get a quick message of condolences from Ronnie Kasrils, a man who would have known Aziz Pahad for a very long time. It appears as if they are still in conversation with President Ramaphosa. Let me see if we can get Mr. Ronnie Kasrils here, but I think he's still busy with the president. So for now, we will not be able to get that up until he is done. But let's see if it will happen. These are the members of the ANC and the SACP who have come here to pay their tribute and to bid final farewell to the departed. It's okay to the departed struggle stalwarts, and I'm going to ask colleagues from the presidency if they can get us Mr. Ronnie Kasrils. Mr. Kasrils, how are you? Mr. Kasrils, how are you, Minister Kasrils? Let me see. Yeah. Okay, he's still busy. He's in conversation with other struggle stalwarts of the ANC here, and you need to give them time and space as they are dealing with their fellow comrades. They wouldn't have seen each other for a very long time, and they still need to catch up. And this occasion, said as it is, it brings together members of the ANC struggle stalwart, and I can hear in the conversation he says he is wearing a ribbon that is designed and dedicated to members of the Luthuli detachment here. Let me see.
Okay, when are we starting?
Yeah, well, basically Mr. Kasrils here says asking about the program here, but he's been explaining what he's wearing, the ribbon being reserved for members of the Luthuli detachment, those who were recruited to join the struggle for liberation under President Luthuli, or President General Luthuli at the time. It's a special breed of members and leaders of the ANC to be a member of the Luthuli detachment. Let's say, so those are the leaders who are accorded, the status of being the best among the best within the ANC, the Luthuli detachment. Mr. Kasrils saying, well, Aziz Pahad belonged to the Luthuli detachment of the ANC, a special breed, a rare breed of young leaders at the time, young members at the time, who made their contribution in trying to ensure that they liberate or they contribute in the liberation of this country. And after 1994, they were able then to be appointed to government positions, making their contribution. But when they joined the struggle, it was just a selfless struggle at the time. Mr. Kasrils, how are you? Please, just a quick one. You've known Mr. Aziz Pahad for a very long time.
I've known him for our lifetime. From 1965, we met in London, in fact. And, this is a sorrowful period. His late brother, and they were so close, it was amazing. Isop, we sent him off here 3 months ago, and as I met them both in London, people were surprised because everyone in South Africa knew Aziz. But I was in Durban and then went to Dar es Salaam, and then a few years later to London, and they couldn't believe we hadn't met. But we were so closely connected to a most wonderful freedom fighter, determined, steely, etc. But he had this affable aspect. Everybody liked him. He was everybody's friend. It was wonderful to know Isop Pahad. So I've had wonderful memories. I'll be speaking here on behalf of the Communist Party. Remember, he was a member of our Communist Party for a long time.
You are wearing a Luthuli detachment.
This is Luthuli detachment. I normally don't wear my medals. But Aziz Pahad was a member of the Luthuli detachment. So the first time I come here in public with the red tie of the party, which was also his, and I thought I'm putting on the Luthuli detachment medal, and I will explain that in my speech.